All right, we are back as I told you we would be with this guy here. So remember a couple days I was telling you about the brass very dapper, how they kind of compared to this. So we're going to get in depth on this guy. I was also waiting today to do this because these guys have a Kickstarter going right now, so we'll talk about that more I think in a little bit. But before we get into all that, let's look back at these spinners. So the very first thing I think I want to get out in the open for you guys, I really want to be unbiased here. Seeing the work that Stealth Spinners, and in particular Max, has been doing with the community, doing a lot of reach out, a lot of really great customer service. When the spinner box first came out, I mean, that was a big thing he was pushing. I'm not sure how involved other people are with it, but it really seems like it's his baby. A lot of people were getting this guy or this guy, or everybody got this guy or this guy from what I can tell, but some people got this and wanted this and vice versa, and he was helping them out, right? You get this monthly box and you don't like what you get in it, that's kind of I think what you should expect, but again, they went out of their way to make sure that people were happy with what they got. You see them posting around on all the major groups out there, really just doing good community engagement, really good customer service, and that has me really liking them for what they do, because I appreciate a company that does good customer service. So I'm really trying not to be biased and saying overly positive things about this just because, you know, I like the company. So for the past couple days I've been spinning just about nothing but this guy, and then every once in a while switching up for one of my other spinners, just trying to see how I feel and comparing it to them. Because again, I want to be fair. I don't want to tell you guys to go out and buy this just because I like what the company's doing. But what I can say wholeheartedly is this is definitely one of my favorite spinners in the collection. Kind of forcing myself to use it since I've got kind of a small collection growing, and I've been at home sitting on the couch, I've been able just to switch them out nonstop, and there's something about the feeling with this guy that is definitely up there. So I think at retail it's about double what the Very Dapper is, but you can get discounts on their site pretty easily. They do little discount little code things on there, and I think it's got a reduced price anyway. So but let's talk about how it spins, how it feels, and what the deal is with it while I just kind of fidget it here. And I will be talking mostly about this one because I'm not a huge bar fan. I don't have a lot of bars, so it's hard for me to really talk a lot about this guy. But I'll tell you my opinions on it, but we're really going to mainly be talking about the Aventador here. So first things first, she is a heavy girl. She is 95 grams. Anybody who's seen the Triton, which knows that the Triton is a beast, is 110 grams. So this is only 15 grams less than a Triton. It's 10 more grams than a sorry about saying there, than a Very Dapper. It is, you definitely can kind of feel that way, but to me it's not overly heavy. It doesn't feel like a really heavy spinner. I think it kind of hits the sweet spot of, you know, weight and fidgetability and being practical. Again, I kind of have big hands and I like the heavier spinners, right? I like brass, so I'm pretty happy with the weight of these guys. But it doesn't feel to me when I first grabbed it and started using it, I really didn't think of it as a heavy spinner. But it definitely is up there. So with that heavy spinner, you get really good spin time. So if you look, right, we got a positive taper. The arms get wider as they go out. They put more of their mass on the outside. So what ends up happening is that just gets you better spin times. On a table spin, looking at, most recently I've gotten, I consistently get right around 6 minutes, 15 seconds, somewhere in that range. I think this bearing needs to be cleaned a little bit. It feels pretty smooth, but it's a little louder. I will say I am using the bearings that came with it as well. When I first got this, I got this one secondhand. You guys remember me talking about sanded the faces down because it had some nicks, but I really like that look anyway. Aventador. So yeah, sanded those faces down, but the bearing that was in it, the one specifically that I'm using, was getting like a minute and a half on like a vertical spin. Just not cutting it. Cleaned it really well. We're up to, on a really good spin, the best I've gotten is 10 minutes and 10 seconds. That's right, 10 minutes and 10 seconds. A 10-minute plus spinner. For you guys that like spin time, this is definitely a contender, but still maintains that fidgetability. You can tell how long it holds that warp, right? That it's not losing its momentum. It's really holding on to it. The faster, again, it comes out of the warp and goes through those transitions, the faster it's losing its speed. And again, this bearing needs to be cleaned a little bit. I'm even though I'm still getting about 8.5 to 9 minutes on vertical spins, I can just kind of feel it a little bit. So fidgetability wise, let's talk about this guy. So with the weight, there's a couple actually things I really like about that weight. Because so much more of the mass is on the outside here, when you get your finger on the inside, you kind of feel that there's a lot more weight. So you get kind of almost like it almost feels, doesn't quite feel like the spinner's pushing back, but there's some resistance there, right? It doesn't just move, you really got to put some weight into it, but that lets you get really good, powerful flicks, almost like, feels like kind of snapping my fingers, and I can get some really good flicks in there. And that's one of the things I really like. When I spin a spinner, I'm not usually just kind of like flicking it back and forth all day. I mean, I am, but I'm really, when I'm flicking it, I'm trying to get the most powerful, fastest flick I can. That's what I enjoy about my spinners. And this one meets that criteria and then some. So when you get your finger on the inside here, you really can give it a good pull. And again, just like being in a lower gear on a bike, when you're closer to the inside, you really can get some really fast flicks. However, I also can reach out, and these, edges that they've got here, you can see their little raised logos. I can reach out, get my finger on that, and pull. It is kind of a bigger spinner. It's a little bigger. I don't have anything to compare it to because I'm out at the park walking around today. But it is a little larger of a spinner, but you still can reach out there and get some good flicks. And then you don't feel the weight as much. So if you don't like feeling all that weight, you just grab a little further to the outside, do 2 fingers like this, right? And you still can get some good flicks. If you look at this guy, it looks like it has a lot of pretty sharp edges, right? There's chamfering, but not a lot of it's really rounded, yet surprisingly there are virtually no hot spots on this thing. So I've been slamming this thing, and I think just the fact that it's got the electroplated brass, it just feels really good. Everything here is really smooth. Even these edges where I've sanded it down, everything feels smooth. I'm not getting any hot spots. The only spot that could potentially be a hot spot is this little middle ridge here. Are actually pretty sharp. I can do that on a couple of them. I can do that little nail test I was doing. Yeah, this one here is kind of a sharp one. But your finger doesn't really hit that, even on these kind of flicks. Everything's kind of getting protected more by these here. So even though that is, in theory, would be a hot spot, I'm not just going to sit there and rub my finger on that. We're going to be good to go all day with this thing. So it's a heavy spinner. It's got some weight. It's got some good feedback. The bearings that come in it are quality. It comes with 2 bearings. Whoop, whoop. Call the police. Might be an ambulance. I don't know. Oh, and something just got in that bearing. Oh, crap. We might be done spinning this. Do you guys see that? See it just lock right up? That's unfortunate. But the bearings that come in it are definitely pretty good quality bearings. I've had a couple hybrid ceramics that... I don't know what that was about. Again, it definitely needs to be cleaned out. It's been in my pocket, so I'm sure it's got a little bit of lint in there. So, but the bearings that come in it are quality bearings, and it ships with 2. So if you don't like the way the first one feels or goes, you switch out for the second one. I believe they are the same bearing. I don't think one's different than the other. It's just in case you get a bad bearing, you've got a good one in there, and if you got a good one, you got 2 good ones. So the only big downside I can say to this guy, I do have to say something negative, right? Otherwise you won't believe me. I'm not affiliated with these guys. They're not paying me. I bought these, all that good stuff. The buttons, which they've actually pretty much resolved, but these buttons are kind of crap, only because they're so smooth. On the bar spinner, it's not that bad because the bar spinner has less weight. But on this guy, with as heavy as it is, when you want to get those powerful flicks, you really need to be able to have some grip. So I switched out some spinetic buttons that I got. I think this guy would go great with some extra large spinetic buttons. But let's talk about the bar spinner for a minute. I'm not a huge fan of bars. This one has quite a bit of wobble, not like when you're spinning it. It's pretty well balanced this way. But it's just a bar spinner. Because so much of that weight's outside and it's so thin inside, you really feel that, and it's really going to slow it down. But a lot of people like that. The one thing I find I don't like with bar spinners is it's hard sometimes to just get in and get another good flick. Right, so like if my finger lands there, I'm not gonna get a good flick. So I can't just go wham, 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 nonstop. I really need to kind of get a good placement on my finger. So if I get a good stop, and then I can pull it, and then I can just inch it along, get a good pull. I can't do it quite as fast without thinking about it. But that's a thing unique to bar spinners and not any real negative about this guy. So, but if you like bar spinners, I'm sure you'll be pretty happy with this guy. So this is the Stealth B2. Again, comes in at 70 grams. It's lighter, so they didn't try to match the weight between this one and this guy here. They, you know, they use probably just about the identical arms. Just about identical arms, it looks like. So, yeah, we gotta clean that bearing out, boys. Sorry, boys and girls. Oh, look at that. You see that? Boo. There we go. But you can see how it spins fine again. It just needs to be cleaned. So, some good warping, good two-handed. Yeah, the two-handed spins on this guy are really fantastic. I really like these. So this is a high-speed warp, so it's going to fall out of it a little faster, because the faster it's going, the faster it's going to lose its momentum. But really happy with it. So anyway, they got a Kickstarter going on, guys, for their Shimmering Sentinel. Now I've got a few highly polished, shiny spinners, and I really appreciate how they look in low light. So you're sitting on the couch at the end of the day, you just got like a table lamp on beside you, you just get some really good reflection. I can't help but imagine that thing's going to be nothing but amazing in that sort of light. They really are kind of highlighting the fact that when you look at it, so if you go to the Kickstarter page, I'll link it in the comments below. Let me point down below like everybody else. Have I ever done that? Point it down to the comments below, guys. Check them out. If you check out the comments below, I'll link you to that. They're going to talk about, the work they went in making this spinner. And I'm sure it is going to be all that they say it is. There's some early bird backers going, so you can kind of get a bit of a discount. It is a bit more expensive of a spinner. You're looking at anywhere from $125 for the kind of early bird on the brass, up to, I think the full retail value of the stainless steel is right around $200. Now the stainless steel is a harder material to machine, and these are all highly polished, and I believe they said polished by hand, so you're going to get a really good shine. I've hand polished a few of my spinners, and I know what they look like. I know how they feel. I know what they're like, and I expect these to kind of meet that. So hopefully, they're going to come through and deliver on what they're saying they are. But I have no reason to suspect otherwise. Again, their customer service has been great. I can't imagine they're going to price themselves out. With these, definitely more affordable, kind of mid-tier spinners, right in the $50, $60 range for these guys, depending on what sort of discount you're getting. If they're charging $100 for a spinner, knowing what I'm getting for these guys, I'm excited to see what it is. But again, it is a more pricey spinner, and I'm hoping it delivers, and I'm hoping it can compete in this market. Because again, I wish nothing but luck for these guys for what they've shown their company kind of stands for and can do. So, yeah, hopefully I didn't talk these guys up too much and get on anybody's bad side. Again, not affiliated, not sponsored. Just want to give you the good word on these guys here. I wish this bearing didn't lock up on me in the middle of this review so I could keep spinning it. There we go. She's good. She's good. So, yeah, Aventador by Stealth gets the Hobby Timmy approval. Thumbs up on this bad boy. Should I leave you with a warp, y'all? Spinning it too fast for the warp. Maybe we can stop it right on Aventador. What do you think the odds are? 1 in 3. Peace. Alright, it is honesty time, guys. Hey, you see my face? Have I ever shown my face? I don't think so, but this is me. Hello. Honesty time. So the issue with the bearing was just the little retention screw had come loose in there. So the bearing was getting twisted a little sideways. So I just tightened that back up, and she's good to go. So, and I also don't think I really clarified but the issue with the button, remember I complained about the buttons kind of being crap. They are shipping now with a laser etched logo. So the little logo that's on here is laser etched in black on the stainless steel buttons. So that really shouldn't be an issue anymore for you guys. So. Did we get it? No, we didn't get it. But anyway, so I just wanted to let you guys know that nothing got stuck in the bearing. It was just me being a dummy. And we're good to go with this, guys. So, thanks. Peace.